Okay, Kyrie Irving being one of the most skilled players in the league, but still barely being able to dunk. All right, so a lot of people always wonder, like, how are these NBA players, 6 foot, 6'2", 6'3", and they can barely dunk? But I see my guy like the Loco LA Fitness, who is 20 times less skilled than them, but can jump out the gym. And he's only 5'10" or something like that. So I've always like wanted to try to explain this. I don't know how I want to word out the title, but I'm just gonna react to his video and show his workouts. I'm gonna try to explain why training for skills and like change of direction and stuff. This is Michael Lancaster, great skills trainer, by the way. Training for skills and like change of direction and movement quality is gonna actually ruin your vertical jump a decent amount. So even if you have great qualities, you're just above average height. The average height is 5'8". You're 6'3", but you still barely dunk is because of what you're doing on the court. And it might even help some basketball players who watch this to understand, okay, like, why am I struggling to, jump higher? It's maybe because of the volume you have to train at, like these NBA players do, to get so skilled, so they lose a little bit of the athleticism part. So, I hope this is a workout. So what's showing right here is you have to think about like the things he's doing as like a rep. Okay, so right there, like what he's doing right now is like low intensity plyometrics and high intensity change of direction. So he just did a crossover. We'll do this again. He just did a heavy spin. So there's a lot of hip internal external rotation, and he has the femur loaded, and then he does a heavy spin at full speed, right? And then if we skip back a little bit more, these are just light pogos you can look at, but you see that heavy crossover? That's huge change of direction. That requires a high output from your central nervous system, which is going to get you great gains in speed and, change of direction ability. But it's, when you do that 10, 30 times a game and you play 5 games, like right here, I'll show you right here, okay? So this is kind of BS. He's just messing around, but like just right there. So he just exploded, right? So he did a hezzy drop and then exploded to the rim. What people are doing now is they're doing this, 30 times a day. So they're playing, 10 pickup games a day, and they're doing this, 3 or 4 times each pickup game. Look at all that. Look at all this. All right. They're doing this 10 to 20 times a day. And that's a lot of volume, especially if you do that 5 days a week. That's some high intense. That's like a high intensity sprint for 10 to 20 meters, but you're doing that like 10, 20 times a day. All right. And that's going to affect a lot of your athletic gains. Right here, he's doing a lot of, hip internal external rotation, a lot of change of direction, and then he explodes for 2 to 3 steps. It's really 1 step, but you know what I'm trying to say. And then does a speed stop. And then after the speed stop, loads his femur and does a full, 360 spin, or whatever you want to call it, 120 or 130, whatever you want to call it, type spin, right? Into his fade. That's a lot of athletic change of direction. This is going to impair your athleticism skill or your athleticism ability because of how much you're moving on a constant basis, right? When you're moving at such a fast pace, you're stopping and going, putting all that load onto your knees and your ankles. You're gonna, fall behind in terms of athleticism because you're going full speed then stopping and then slowing down and then going full speed then spinning from your left foot all the way to your right foot, or bouncing from here and doing all this crazy stuff. You're doing so much different moves all over your body that your body's going to take a lot of load that's going to stop them from being athletic. And then right here too, if we're just going to talk about his workout in general, none of that's going to give you really crazy athletic gains. I like what he's doing here, little single leg sit downs, some row stuff. I saw him doing dumbbell step ups, but none of that's really going to make you super athletic. It's not enough high intensity plyometrics, which he's already getting from here, but it's not high intensity plyometrics for vertical jump. It's high intensity for change of direction. So look what he's doing right now. He's sprinting, stopping. He's reacting probably to like a left-right signals to improve his reaction time. Yep. And then he's passing and going to shots. Stuff like this right here. You see that? Like, it's so simple once you start understanding. Look how fast he just went. He was at this ref. So look at my mouse. He was all the way at the ref. In 1 step, he exploded all the way past the screen and then did a sham god through the middle. So he exploded in 1 step and then took his his trigger step, which was the back foot, and stopped it. So he exploded super far, stops his entire body, and then he's gonna explode all the way to this part right here in the middle of the court, and still took another 3 steps and jumped off one foot to take a layup. That's a lot of stuff to be doing and then look at that move. You just change his direction, change his entire body 3 different times, and then you have to do that 20 to 50 to 100, 500 reps a day for basketball training. When you're in the NBA, I've seen NBA, like literal NBA programs right now by NBA, trainers, and it's literally, 300, 500 reps of the same thing, but it requires so much of these type of movements where it's crazy physical change of direction demands that you're going to lose a lot of your athleticism. And he can still dunk. I'm not saying he cannot dunk. I'm saying there's a reason why he's not jumping out the gym like you see a lot of other 6'3", 6'4" guys his size. You know what I'm saying? Real lean. He's 6'3", you know what I'm saying? But, like, that's not, like, it's not really that crazy of a dunk. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we're talking about NBA guys. Those type of dunks are barely impressive. Really solid, though. I mean, he's obviously probably the most skilled player of all time. But that's what happens when you let's keep checking it out. When you have to do all this type of stuff. Now, a lot of people will be like, okay, well, he can't dunk, but he's really good at finishing. That's great and all, but finishing is a lot about positioning and angles. So it has really not a lot to do with athleticism because, yeah, you have to jump decently high and have a good hang time. But just right here, all that was an angle. You know what I'm saying? That finish right there, obviously there's no defense. All that is angle and touch. People really overestimate how much your athleticism plays into your finishing ability. Like that, his head didn't even get to the net. You know what I'm saying? It may look super athletic, that layup he just did, but it was really simple. It was a lot about angles and stuff like that. But I hope you guys are getting the point here. So if you're wondering, like, okay, like, what does all this mean? Okay, all I'm saying is if you have to have a goal, like if your goal is to be athletic, you know what I'm saying, you're trying to jump out the gym, there's a reason why you see a lot of guys in the NBA who are in the dunk contest, but they can't get any minutes in actual NBA games. It's because it takes a lot of training. I wouldn't say a lot of training. It takes a lot of specific training to become very athletic, right? To really jump out the gym or really get fast. But the second you start adding, skill volume to it, so you're working on a lot of reps of, in and out crossovers and stuff like this, one-on-ones where you're shooting like 30 shots, 5 times a day, or 5 times in a session of like one-on-ones, doing all these shots, you see all this volume. That's a lot of load onto your body. You're going to take a big leap backwards in terms of your athleticism. And there's going to be a lot of days you don't feel good. There's going to be a lot of inconsistency with your jumping ability, and a lot of nagging injuries when you add the load on top of the training that's needed to get the vertical jump, okay? So I hope this makes a lot of sense to you. I'm just going to go over a couple more things that he's doing so you understand the load that he's putting onto his knees and his ankles, so maybe you can understand, like, okay, this is why I feel this way. So right here, we'll go right here. So he did a hezzy. He's pushing off this trigger foot, so it's gonna be an explosive move, and then once he jumps off, he's putting a lot of load to his knees off the takeoff leg. So he just jumped off his right foot. All that speed he put on from the first like 3 steps, he put to his right foot and then jumped up. Did not jump that high. His head didn't even touch the net, okay? I can put my head to the net. I'm 5'8", okay? And he's 6'3" or 6'2", whatever you want to call him. He could be 5'10". I don't fucking know. All right. That stuff right here, these are low intensity plyometrics, but you're doing that 100 times a day. You got spin moves, stuff like that, floaters. He's going super fast, changing directions, jumping off awkward legs. That causes a lot of nagging injuries. A lot of shooting, which is a lot of tendon work. When you're shooting 500 reps a day, 3 or 4 times a week, even 6 times a week, some people do. That's going to do a lot of load on your tendons. Think about jumping, let's say 400 pogos 6 days a week. You know what I'm saying? Doing jump rope for 10 minutes 6 days a week. That's a lot. All right, that's a lot of jump rope. That's a lot of stuff. That's the same thing he's doing right now. That's literally all the same stuff. So you just got take all this into a factor when it comes to being athletic. If you're really trying to jump out the gym, you want to back up on your skills training and focus on maybe getting very athletic for about maybe a year or two. Especially if you're young, focus on your skill work, but have little moments, 3 month moments where okay, sorry, I'm coughing a lot. We're only going to work on, your athleticism, your skills, 3 times a week, and you're really going to focus on athleticism for a little bit. If you're young, you have a lot of time to improve your skill development. As long as you're playing a decent amount of basketball, you're going to work on that. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna improve at skill. Barbell back squats, a lot of this stuff. Dude, a lot of his stuff he's been doing that I've seen, everything I've seen in his weight room, it's a lot of injury reduction. You know what I'm saying? So the proof is in the pudding, man. The proof is in the pudding. You do a lot of explosive skill work, a lot of 100% fast paced skill work, which is what you need to improve at skills. Then you are not gonna get bouncy, okay? But if you do a lot of bouncy work and you chill out on the skill work, you will get bouncy. It's common sense. I don't even know how many times I have to repeat myself. I feel like I'm repeating myself 1,000 times. I think I'm gonna cut it short this video. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you for watching this far. Tell me who I should cover next. Everyone's been talking about Kyrie recently, so why not bring him up, talk about his athleticism, and I'm glad that he's actually getting a chance back to play in the Nets. I'm not gonna talk about the whole like mask stuff. I don't really give a shit about the whole anti-vax shit, but it's cool to see him because he's a very fun player to watch. And see y'all later. Hit the bell notifications. Deuces.